Established Rich coming right back at you. I'm not even gonna tiptoe around this. Joe Budden was right. When he said he was happy JCole's Honda Civic broke down, he wasn't talking about his car. He was talking about a narrative, and that narrative is getting tired. This truck sale tour, rolling around in a Honda Civic trying to look humble, it don't look humble at all. You're a multi-millionaire. You're a global star. You own property. You move with security. But every rollout, we back in Fayetteville. Every rollout, we back in your dorm room. Every rollout, we back to, I'm just still Jermaine. At some point, you have to ask why. Why are we still performing poverty when we know his bank account is not poor? Why are we cosplaying struggle when success is the real story now?
Anybody in the world that could not be happier that JCole Civic broke down, it's me. It's me. I'm not going to hide.
Because you wanted to see the mechanic footage.
I'm not going to hide it at all, Parks. I can't. I jumped for joy when the news came across my feed that JCole and this stupid performative ass Civic broke down like JCole knew it would.
It wasn't the newest of Civics.
No. His ass came out and said, this is the Civic from 96 when I got my first. That's the Civic you shouldn't be driving, Jermaine. You shouldn't be driving. Go get a new Civic. Stop with this fucking, I'm rich, but I relate to you. College. This is the first car I drove when I had dreams of being a nigga. You talking about going from countryside, one side of the country to another side of the country in a car.
A Civic.
In an old Civic.
In a Civic. In an old Civic. Then he got the nerve to tweet like he disappointed that it broke down. Nobody was happier than me and him that car broke down. He talking about, yo, I guess I'll just get a Sprinter now. And Utah, we still rolling. We got him in the Sprinter for sale. Yes, the Sprinter holds more than the stupid fucking Civic that you've been driving around in. And nobody want to tell him because we like him. And we like the idea.
Now they had him at the mechanic shop. They had the Civic up on the lift. They showing him what's wrong underneath.
That's the footage I wanted.
He gonna get that timing belt fixed, and he back out
there. All the fans showed up to the mechanic shop.
Yeah, just need a new brake pad. That's it.
Yeah, Florida A&M, here we come.
JCole fans gonna make me hate them too. See, I don't really have no beef with JCole fans, but if y'all gonna pull up to the Civic while it's being worked on, leave the beef. Apologize. Get out the beef.
They pulled up like hundreds deep to the little
You like that?
mechanic shop.
All this shit is fly, but I hate it. Why? Do I hate me?
It is self-hatred, yeah.
It might.
Yeah.
Do I hate anybody that just looks like they're doing them and having a blast?
Yeah.
Or is this just really fucking stupid? What are y'all gonna do when I'm gone? There's nobody to call out things that are really stupid. Jermaine Cole in this Civic is stupid. I'm glad it broke down. Good for him. God will humble you. God will fix you.
Get that shit back in the road.
He's driving a Civic, my nigga.
What the
How
fuck?
much more humble you want him?
That was fake humble.
You want him to
That
get
was
him?
fake.
That was fake.
That was fake humble.
That is
It
fake.
is fake.
That's
but
not
I'm
real
saying,
humble.
Jermaine, but J. Cole's
God,
That's not true, Joe.
no, that's not fake humble.
You know what you got to do is just get
not fake humble.
the Maybach body underneath the motherfucking Civic and just put the Civic on the top. Get back on the road.
No, because you're going to have this much chassis.
It's humble.
That's not fake humble.
Every picture J. Cole is in that Civic, he looked dumber and dumber. He's 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
You one of the tallest rappers out there. It's like Slim Thug pulling up everywhere in the fucking Civic. We would clown Slim Thug.
Bro, he's showing his level of humility, and he's being gracious for the journey in which he's
selling a lot of records and lying to my face in the process with this Civic shit. Enough of him. Enough of him.
What's the lie about the Civic?
I'm glad that God was on my side with this.
What's the lie about the
lie
Civic?
is
That
you
the
could get
Civic
that
can
Civic,
make it from...
You can get that Civic right back on the road. There's Civics everywhere. You
Joe,
put a new transmission in that bitch, you back in 20 minutes.
Dog, the parts cost $17. What you talking about, nigga?
So you getting it fixed. That's what I'm saying. Well, that ain't no lie.
No, I don't respect him. What's my man name that walked from
Mike Poser.
Mike Poser. Mike Poser walked. He walked.
He did.
From one side of the country to another side of the country. If you was a fan of him, you had to prove it because you had to catch him on the side of I-9 whatever. If you was a fan of his, you had to meet up and give him sandals because his feet was blistering and shit.
Yeah.
That's real. That's real.
Joe called it fake humble. And that phrase hits hard because it fits. Fake humble is when you want credit for not flexing while quietly flexing the idea that you could. Fake humble is when you film yourself at a self-serve car wash, but never show the actual estate you parked that car next to. Fake humble is when you want your audience to still believe you a college student living with a dream, when the reality is you a businessman with a machine behind you. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is selling a costume character. What's wrong is freezing yourself in an early version of you. The fall off was supposed to feel like evolution, but the visuals feel like a rewind. The album cover feels like a throwback. The rollout feels like a memory. How many times are we gonna rehearse the origin story? How many times are we gonna polish the same nostalgia? Fayetteville again. The Civic again. The I never changed energy again. But you did change. You did level up. And there's no shame in that. Evolution is not sin. Kendrick used a GNX and it felt like symbolism. It felt like he was telling you a story about power and heritage. Cole using a Civic feels like image maintenance. It feels like he's afraid to outgrow his introduction. And here's where I'm gonna get real direct. This has been building for years. The Porsche truck wash moments. The random parking lot sit downs. I don't care about money lines. The subliminal shots with no names attached. You hear him rap about people not budgeting right. And if you ask him who he talking about, you will never get a straight answer. That's brand protection. That's strategic ambiguity. You get credit for being sharp without the consequence of being direct. And that same energy is what this Civic game feels like. Safe authenticity, controlled relatability, curated humidity. And before the comments start, this ain't hate. You can love someone's music and still call out the marketing. You can love someone's talent and still question their presentation. Joe said it out loud, but I've been thinking it. At some point, humility stops looking pure when it has to be reintroduced every album cycle. At some point, the Civic ain't symbolic, it's a prop. And if it breaks down, it's not just a mechanical failure, it's a crack in the illusion. Let's talk about this origin story loop, because that's what it really is. JCole don't reference Fayetteville, he rehearses it. He doesn't just nod to his past, he builds a museum around it every cycle. And look, origin stories matter. We all come from somewhere. But when your career is almost 2 decades deep and every major moment still centers around, remember when I was broke? You have to ask a question. Is this memory or is this brand strategy? There is a difference. Memory is organic. Strategy is deliberate. The Civic is not accidental. The dorm aesthetic is not accidental. The I'm still just Jermaine energy is not accidental. It is repeated because it works. It works on a certain demographic. It works on fans who want to believe their hero never left them. But here's the issue. Growth requires change. And change requires risk. If you keep selling the same version of yourself, you don't have to risk losing the people who fell in love with that version. But you also don't evolve visually. You don't evolve symbolically. You can't associate nothing else with JCole but college, Civic, and Fayetteville. All he does is stay safe. The fall off should feel like a culmination. It should feel like a final chapter written from the penthouse. But instead, we back in the parking lot. And I ain't saying he can't be grounded. I'm saying grounded don't mean stuck. There is a difference. You can be humble and still show success. You can be relatable and still embrace power. Kendrick embraced power. Drake embraced luxury. Jay-Z evolved from Marcy to the boardroom. Cole seems to freeze himself right at the moment before he made it. And that's where it starts to feel performative. The real life is bigger than the aesthetic. You don't see the real house, the real garage. You don't see the full family life. You see selective frames. And again, that's his right. Privacy is not a crime. But don't sell selective privacy as purity. Don't sell curated frames as raw honesty. This is what Joe's comment hit. When he said fake humble, he wasn't talking about his music. He was attacking his image. And the image has been consistently controlled, consistently safe. Even the subliminal lines. He throws shade without names. He'll critique rappers without targets. And if you ask who he means, you'll never get clarity. That's strategic. That's brand protection. You get the edge without the consequence. And the same energy applies to this rollout. You get humility credit without ever having to show the real truth. This ain't about hating a man. This is about recognizing a pattern. When you repeat the same story over and over and over and over and over and over, it stops feeling like testimony and starts feeling like marketing. Now let's talk about the fans, because none of this works without them. The reason the Civic rollout hits is because people want it to hit. They want to believe their hero never left the neighborhood. They want to believe that success didn't change him. But success is supposed to change you. It's supposed to expand you. It's supposed to elevate your vision. When you stay visually frozen in your pre-success era, you give people comfort, but you don't give them evolution. And here's what's really happening, in my opinion. A lot of people defending that Civic because they see themselves in it. They see their own struggle, their own humble beginnings. So when someone calls it performative, they feel personally attacked. But this is not about you. This is about branding. This is about a multi-millionaire choosing to present himself as a pre-millionaire. That's a decision, not an accident. And here's the real question. Why is he afraid to show the full upgrade? Why does it feel like he has to keep proving he ain't like them? Why does humility have to be reintroduced every album cycle? Real humility don't need a camera and it don't need a Civic. It just is. And I'm gonna say something I know y'all gonna be mad at. At some point, staying the same becomes an act. At some point, never changing becomes a brand strategy. Evolution doesn't make you less relatable. It makes you more honest. Jay-Z ain't pretend he was still on the block. He showed you the boardroom. Kendrick don't pretend he's still broke. He shows you symbols of power. Cole keep taking us back to his dust-ass dorm room. And maybe that's comfortable. Maybe that's safe. But safe is not always authentic. And when Joe said he was happy the Honda Civic broke down, what he really meant was this. He was happy the prop failed. The image cracked. The performance got interrupted. And just for a moment, the illusion felt exposed. This ain't about hate. This is about honest conversation. You can love the music and still question the marketing. And if you disagree, then that's fine. But don't pretend this pattern is not new. We've seen it, we've watched it. And some of us are just tired of the same introduction every time. Evolve, or at least own the brand strategy. But don't sell it as pure humility. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.